There comes a point in life where everything feels like it's falling apart. You've tried your best, but life hits harder than you ever imagined. These moments define who we are. They come without warning, leaving you wondering why this is happening to you. It's in these dark times that you feel the weight of the world. But here's the thing. Every single person has to face these moments, and how you navigate them can either break you or make you stronger. Today, we're talking about those 6 worst situations you have to face in life. Situations that shake you to your core, challenge your very beliefs, and push you to the brink. But more importantly, we're going to uncover the powerful lessons you can take away from them. These lessons, they're what will ultimately lead you to growth, resilience, and wisdom. Before we begin, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's dive in. 1. Losing someone you love. There are moments in life that leave us speechless, and one of the hardest is losing someone we love. Whether it's through death, growing distance, or situations beyond your control, the loss cuts deep. It's the kind of pain that feels unbearable, like a piece of you has been ripped away. In those first moments, you feel disoriented, lost in a whirlwind of emotions. You replay memories, wishing you could hold on just a little longer, say one more word, or share one more moment. But the finality of it, knowing that you'll never see them smile again or hear their voice, leaves a void that feels impossible to fill. Losing someone is more than just an emotional experience. It's a shift in your entire world. The routines you shared, the small daily interactions, they all vanish. You're left standing in a reality that feels foreign, as if life has moved forward but you're stuck, unable to follow. And the loneliness, the grief, it lingers. The memories that once brought joy now feel bittersweet, reminding you of what you no longer have. But through this immense pain, something profound begins to surface. We realize how fragile life truly is. We come to understand that nothing and no one lasts forever. It's this very fragility that teaches us to hold on to the moments that matter, to hug a little tighter, to say, "I love you" without hesitation, and to live each day with intention, knowing that tomorrow is never guaranteed. You see, when we lose someone, we also gain something. We gain a deeper appreciation for the time we have with the people who remain in our lives. The love we shared with that person, whether they're gone due to distance, circumstance, or death, doesn't simply vanish. It stays with us. The lessons they taught us, the memories we built together, they're etched into our souls. That love is forever, and no matter what happens, no one can take that away from you. In the face of loss, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the weight of grief. But it's important to remember that while people may leave, the impact they had on our lives lasts forever. The love they gave, the moments they shared with us, they continue to shape us, even in their absence. So, when you find yourself facing the unbearable pain of losing someone you love, remember that through the heartache, there's a lesson in living fully, in loving deeply, and in holding on to what truly matters. Loss reminds us to live without regret, to cherish those we love while we have them, and to honor the memory of those we've lost by living a life they would be proud of. 2. Facing failure. Failure. It's a word that carries so much weight, yet it's something every one of us will face at some point in life. And when it happens, it's devastating. Whether it's the collapse of a business you poured your heart into, the breakdown of a relationship you thought would last forever, or falling short of a personal goal you worked so hard for, failure strikes at your core. It makes you question everything about yourself. Am I good enough? Did I do something wrong? Is this the end of my dream? In that moment, the sting of failure feels unbearable. You feel like the world is watching, judging, and you're left wondering if you'll ever recover. It's a crushing blow to your self-confidence and your sense of worth. You might even start comparing yourself to others, wondering why things seem to come so easily to them while you're left struggling, picking up the pieces of something you thought was certain. But here's the thing about failure that most people don't realize in the moment. Failure is not a full stop. It's a comma in your story. It's a pause, a lesson, a detour, not the end of the road. In fact, some of the most successful people you admire have faced more failures than they can count. The difference between them and the rest isn't that they avoided failure. It's that they learned how to turn it into fuel. When you fail, it's easy to feel like the world is crashing down. But in reality, failure is life's way of teaching you something. Every time you stumble, there's a lesson hidden beneath the surface, waiting for you to uncover it. Maybe you needed to learn patience, perseverance, or humility. Maybe the path you were on wasn't truly aligned with your purpose, and failure is pushing you towards something even better. The truth is, failure isn't the enemy. Staying down after failure is. Think about it. How many people have succeeded on their first try? The answer is almost none. Every great achievement comes with a trail of failures behind it. It's through these failures that you learn who you really are. They test your resilience, your determination, and your ability to adapt. The people who rise to greatness aren't the ones who avoid failure. They're the ones who face it head on, learn from it, and use it as a stepping stone to something greater. So, the next time you face failure, and you will, remember that it's part of your journey. It doesn't define you. How you respond to it does. Take a deep breath, reflect on what went wrong, and figure out what lessons you can take from it. Maybe it's a new strategy, a different mindset, or simply the knowledge that you're stronger than you think. Embrace failure as a part of your growth. Each time you fall, you're one step closer to success. And when you do finally succeed, it'll be all the more rewarding because of the journey it took to get there. So don't fear failure. Welcome it, because without it, there's no path to greatness. 3. Feeling betrayed by someone you trust. There's a unique kind of pain that comes from being betrayed by someone you trust. It's a gut-wrenching feeling, like the ground has been pulled out from under you. Whether it's a friend you've known for years, a family member you've always confided in, or a partner you've shared your life with, when that trust is broken, it feels like the deepest kind of wound. You start asking yourself, how could they do this? Why didn't I see the signs? Was I wrong to trust them in the first place? The questions swirl in your mind, making you doubt not just them, but yourself too. You replay moments in your head trying to pinpoint where things went wrong, but the truth is, betrayal often comes out of nowhere. It's blindsiding. And the worst part, it doesn't just shatter your trust in that one person. It can make you question your trust in everyone around you. Betrayal leaves you feeling exposed, vulnerable, and sometimes even ashamed. You might wonder if you were naive for believing in them, if you were too trusting. It makes you feel like you have to build walls, protect yourself, and never let anyone in again. But as hard as it is to face, betrayal teaches one of life's most difficult lessons. People are fallible. No matter how much you trust someone, no matter how strong the bond, people can let you down. Not everyone values loyalty the way you do, and not everyone will live up to the expectations you've set for them. It's a painful truth, but one that's crucial to understand. People have their own flaws, insecurities, and reasons for their actions, and sometimes those reasons will lead them to betray the ones they care about. But here's the important part. While betrayal can make you feel broken, it also has the power to make you stronger. It teaches you something invaluable about yourself. It shows you how resilient you can be, how to rebuild trust, not just in others, but in yourself. You learn that guarding your heart doesn't mean closing it off entirely. It means being wise about who you let in, recognizing that not everyone deserves your trust, but some people do. Betrayal forces you to reflect on the relationships in your life. It makes you more selective about who you confide in and who you rely on. You start to see that trust is not something to be given lightly. It's something that must be earned. But that doesn't mean you should become bitter or cynical. Just because one person failed you doesn't mean everyone will. The real power lies in healing after betrayal. Instead of letting it harden you, let it guide you towards stronger, more authentic connections. Trust doesn't have to be something you give up on. It just has to be reserved for those who have truly shown they deserve it. And through this experience, you learn one of the most powerful lessons of all. You are enough on your own. While relationships and trust are essential to our lives, your strength and self-worth don't depend on anyone else. Betrayal hurts, yes, but it also clears the way for growth. It shows you who is truly there for you and teaches you how to stand tall, even when others let you down. So when you face betrayal, don't let it break you. Let it refine you. Guard your heart, but don't close it off. And remember that trust, when placed in the right hands, is one of the most powerful gifts you can give. 4. Enduring financial hardships. Few things in life are as overwhelming as enduring financial hardship. When you're in the middle of a financial crisis, it feels like the weight of the world is pressing down on your shoulders. The stress becomes constant, almost suffocating as bills pile up, creditors call, and you find yourself wondering how you'll make it to the next day. It's a fear that gnaws at you. Fear of losing everything you've worked for. Fear of losing everything you've worked for. Fear of not being able to provide for your family. Fear of the unknown. It's a crisis that doesn't just affect your bank account. It impacts every aspect of your life. You start questioning every decision. Where did I go wrong? Why didn't I save more? How did I end up here? The uncertainty of tomorrow hangs over you like a dark cloud. When you're in the middle of it, even the smallest expenses, groceries, rent, medical bills, become monumental challenges. The burden feels relentless, and at times you wonder if there's a way out. The anxiety of financial struggle can rob you of sleep, peace of mind, and even your self-confidence. You might feel embarrassed or ashamed, especially in a world that equates success with wealth. Society often makes it seem like if you're struggling financially, it's a personal failure. But the truth is, financial hardship doesn't discriminate. It can happen to anyone. A job loss, an unexpected medical expense, or a business deal gone wrong. And suddenly, you're thrown into survival mode. But here's the thing. As tough as financial hardship is, it also offers one of the most powerful lessons in resilience. When everything feels like it's crumbling around you, you learn how strong you really are. You learn the value of resourcefulness, of cutting back on what isn't necessary and focusing on what truly matters. You begin to realize that while money is important, it doesn't define who you are. It's a tool, and while the lack of it can create incredible stress, it doesn't determine your worth. In these moments, you also learn to appreciate the things money can't buy: love, health, relationships, and your ability to keep going even when the odds are stacked against you. Financial hardships force you to get creative, to adapt, and to hustle in ways you never thought possible. You might pick up new skills, start a side business, or learn to manage your finances in a way that gives you control over your future. Financial struggles also show you who's really in your corner. During these tough times, you might notice some people distance themselves, while others step up to support you. It's a reminder that your value is not tied to your wealth, but to the relationships you've built and the strength of your character. When you're going through financial hardship, it's easy to feel trapped, but it's important to remember that these moments are temporary. They are challenging, no doubt, but they can also be transformative. They force you to look at life from a different perspective, to be more mindful of how you manage your resources, and to develop a deeper sense of gratitude for the things you still have. The path out of financial hardship isn't always quick or easy, but with perseverance, planning, and sometimes a little help, you can find your way through. Every storm runs its course, and when it does, you'll emerge stronger, wiser, and more equipped to handle whatever life throws at you next. So, if you're in the midst of a financial struggle right now, remember that it doesn't define your future. You are not alone in this, and you are capable of overcoming it. Use this time to grow, to learn, and to plan your way forward. Financial hardship is just a chapter, not your whole story. And when you come out on the other side, you'll carry with you the strength and resilience that no amount of money could ever buy. 5. Facing health problems. There's nothing quite like the shock of facing a health problem to make you realize how fragile life truly is. When your health begins to deteriorate, it feels like the entire world pauses. Everything you once took for granted, your daily routine, your ambitions, your plans for the future, comes to a screeching halt. Suddenly, the things you once thought were so important lose their significance. The career you were chasing, the possessions you were accumulating, the goals you were striving for, they all seem to fade into the background when your body or mind is no longer functioning the way it used to. Whether it's a chronic illness that gradually wears you down or an unexpected diagnosis that changes your life in an instant, the helplessness that comes with health problems is profound. You start to realize how little control you actually have over your own body, and that can be terrifying. And when it's not your own health, but the health of someone you love that's deteriorating, the pain is just as real, if not worse. Watching someone you care about suffer knowing you can't take away their pain is one of the hardest things you'll ever experience. In these moments of vulnerability, it's easy to feel like the world is closing in on you. You might wonder, why me? Why now? Will I ever feel normal again? These questions haunt you, and the uncertainty about the future becomes overwhelming. The strength you once took pride in seems to vanish, replaced by weakness, fatigue, and sometimes even despair. It's a humbling experience, one that forces you to confront your own mortality. But as devastating as health challenges are, they also hold within them a powerful lesson: the value of life itself. When you're healthy, it's easy to overlook the importance of caring for your body and mind. You might push yourself too hard, neglect self-care, or assume that your health will always be there, steady and reliable. But when your health falters, it opens your eyes to the reality that without it, nothing else truly matters. Health problems have a way of making you appreciate the small things. The ability to get out of bed in the morning, to take a walk outside, to breathe deeply without pain. These simple acts become precious. You begin to treasure the present moment because you realize how quickly it can be taken away. The moments spent with loved ones, the time you give to yourself, the joy of simply being, these are the things that matter most. Facing health challenges also teaches you the importance of balance. It reminds you that your body is not invincible and that self-care is not a luxury. It's a necessity. Whether it's eating well, exercising, managing stress, or simply resting, caring for your health becomes a priority in a way it never was before. It's a reminder that no amount of success, money, or material possessions can replace your well-being. And perhaps one of the most profound lessons health challenges teach us is the strength of the human spirit. When your body is weakened, you discover a well of inner strength you didn't know you had. You learn to fight, to adapt, to push through pain, and to find hope even in the darkest of times. You may not have control over what happens to your health, but you do have control over how you respond to it. And that response, whether it's finding resilience in the face of illness or supporting a loved one through their suffering, can be incredibly powerful. Health problems may bring fear and uncertainty, but they also bring clarity. They strip away the unimportant and leave you with a deeper understanding of what truly matters. You learn to value your time, your relationships, and the present moment in a way you never did before. Because at the end of the day, Without your health, none of the other things you once chased after seem nearly as important. So, if you're facing a health challenge right now, remember that you are not defined by your illness or your pain. You are defined by your strength, your resilience, and your ability to keep moving forward. Take this time to care for yourself, to be kind to your body, and to appreciate the life you have, even if it's different from what you imagined. Health may be fragile, but the lessons it teaches are lasting, and they remind us all to cherish each day we are given. 6. Being completely alone. There are few things more painful than the feeling of being completely alone. Whether it's the sudden realization that the people you once relied on are no longer there, or a prolonged sense of isolation that leaves you wondering if anyone truly cares, loneliness can feel suffocating. The quietness becomes deafening, and it's easy to feel like the world has forgotten about you. The weight of solitude presses in, and you might ask yourself, why am I so alone? What did I do to deserve this? In these moments, it's natural to feel abandoned. You see others surrounded by friends, family, or partners, while you struggle with a gnawing ache of isolation. Loneliness doesn't just impact your emotions. It can affect every part of your life. It clouds your mind, drains your energy, and makes even the simplest tasks feel overwhelming. The absence of human connection can make you question your worth and wonder if you're truly loved or understood. But as devastating as loneliness can be, there is a profound and often overlooked lesson hidden in the experience of being completely alone. When you have no one to lean on, no one to turn to, you are forced to confront the most important person in your life, yourself. And while this can be terrifying, it's also an opportunity for profound self-discovery. Being alone teaches you the value of self-reliance. It forces you to realize that while the support of others is important, you can't always depend on the outside world to fulfill you. In this space of solitude, you learn how to stand on your own 2 feet. You discover that your strength doesn't come from the people around you, but from within. The silence, once so oppressive, becomes a canvas for reflection. It's here that you begin to understand your own thoughts, your own desires, and your own fears in ways you couldn't before. When you are alone, you're given the chance to confront your insecurities head on. There's no one to distract you from your thoughts, no one to offer false comfort. It's just you and the raw truth of your emotions. And while this can be uncomfortable, it's also incredibly powerful. You begin to see your fears for what they are, challenges to be overcome, not limitations to hold you back. Loneliness also offers the gift of inner peace if you're open to it. In the absence of others, you can start to cultivate a relationship with yourself. You learn to enjoy your own company, to find joy in solitude, and to embrace the quiet moments that life offers. It's in these moments of reflection that you grow. You develop a deeper sense of self-awareness, a clearer understanding of who you are without the influence of others. And with that understanding comes a quiet confidence, the knowledge that you don't need external validation to feel whole. Being alone doesn't have to mean being lonely. In fact, some of the most transformative periods of growth happen when you are by yourself. This is when you can pursue the passions that speak to your soul, explore interests that have always intrigued you, and reconnect with parts of yourself that might have been lost in the noise of everyday life. You start to realize that solitude can be a sanctuary, a place where you can rest, reflect, and recharge. And when you finally emerge from that solitude, you do so stronger than before. You understand that being alone is not something to fear, but something to embrace. It has taught you resilience, independence, and most importantly, self-love. You no longer rely on others to fill the empty spaces in your heart because you've learned how to fill them yourself. You've learned that the most important relationship you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. So, if you're facing a period of isolation, don't see it as a punishment. See it as an opportunity. This is your time to grow, to heal, and to discover who you are beneath the surface. Loneliness may feel unbearable in the moment, but it's through this experience that you will find your greatest strength. Being alone can be a path to self-reliance, peace, and ultimately freedom. You are never truly alone when you've learned to stand by yourself. In conclusion, these worst situations may come like storms, tearing apart the life you once knew, but they also offer the chance to rebuild stronger than ever. Each one brings with it a lesson, a painful but powerful lesson, that shapes who you are and how you grow. The truth is, life is hard. It's full of moments that will push you to your limits, but it's also filled with opportunities to rise above those challenges, to learn from them, and to become a better, wiser version of yourself. When you face the worst life has to offer, remember, it's not the end. It's the beginning of a new chapter, one where you will emerge stronger, more resilient, and more capable than you ever thought possible. So, stay strong and trust the process. If you found value in this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more powerful content, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any updates. And if you faced any of these situations in your life, drop a comment below and share your experience. We'd love to hear your story. Remember, you're not alone. Together, we grow stronger. Thank you for watching.